everybody. I hope everyone's having a great day so far. Right off the bat, I'm going to apologize about my internet. It seems to not be the most consistent tonight, but hopefully it'll hold up. So yeah, I do apologize for the low frame rate. Or not frame rate, dropped frames. In fact, I think I should lower my bitrate just a bit, just for tonight. Okay, that seems to be a little better. Anyway, so today we're gonna continue working on this. And hey Taco, good to see you here. How have you been lately? So we were working on trying to update the way the game loads data files. The main thing we wanted is to be able to have several different data objects in the same file and to be able to group things together basically the way the mod author wants to. And we finished most of it, but we just needed to tie up a few loose ends and then of course test it. It's been okay. I'm doing pretty good tonight too. Glad this week I've been back on my normal schedule and I've been able to stream regularly, so that always feels good. Okay, but mostly what we need to do here is we need to convert this type of code to something like this, where we just pass any dictionaries to this function and it will loop through all of the databases for each after turn effect. And it's pretty easy. I just need to take that out and then instead have a for each loop right here. Loaded databases. I think that's about it. Yeah, and Visual Studio is also very slow tonight. I don't know what the deal is with it. It took an age for it to load up. And one last time for monsters. Delete the arguments so they're not the same name. Okay, that looks fine. So I guess I still do need to clear the abilities right here. I should probably... I don't clear the after turn effects before calling that function. That's a bit of a problem. I wonder if I did that somewhere else, but I forgot to move it up. And it looks like I just completely forgot to clear the old database. Okay, so yeah, here it's adding one block just for the default empty. And I think that's fine. Yeah, that works actually. I don't have to retype everything. Okay, so let's see. I think everything should be set up now, but there might be some other error that I am not thinking of. And when Unity compiles it should let me know. Okay, no, everything looks fine. Let's just check the warnings. Alright, so this function registry actually doesn't need to keep this value stored here anymore, because it just basically just passes it on to all these child objects. Okay, and then these I've always known about, but I know I'll need them in the future, so I don't want to go delete them just to get rid of the error message. Okay, so let's just try to play the game and hopefully everything will load. Oh nope, we got some error. And it will load XML file, monster prototype gold, XML exception. So it's not going to give me any other help there, is it? I should probably just print it out right here. So log exception. This will be fine now. I think the reason I didn't do this originally is because if we're ever going to do multi-threading, this would throw up an error because you can't use the Unity debug in a separate thread. Just a few hours. Oh, yeah, I know. All that stuff with Korea is pretty scary to think about. Or that situation, I should say. So here, monster prototypes expected. I probably just did a typo. Oh yeah, I didn't. I forgot the slash. That's one reason I don't like working in XML. Okay, everything loaded, looks like. So if I try to move the players, let's just make sure everything goes through one turn. Okay, yeah, perfect. I thought we'd have a little bit more trouble than that, but like when they chill out, they're begging for something to wipe. Yeah, I know. It's a little hard to understand their position, in my opinion. Okay, so that is done. Oh yeah, definitely Taco, I agree with you there. Exactly. Okay, so what's the next project I want to work on? One thing that I don't really like is just having these various functions in the global namespace. I mean, I guess it's not really that big of a deal, but it might be a little nicer if they had just an object, like a parent object, to try and keep them all, what's the word? Grouped together. So we have this asynchronous request and response, so maybe I'll just make another class which is async. What do I want to call this? I guess I should work backwards here. So we call it async. requests. That might be fine. And then we can change this to, I don't know, any open requests. That looks pretty good to me. I guess I'm just, do I want to use this name or not?
Thank you so much for playing my game.
I guess that makes sense. Maybe I should call it, like, instead of async, maybe I should call it coroutine request because it uses the Lua coroutine. Just to try and keep things with the same theme, I guess is the word. Okay, I guess I'll do that. So the other one that we have right now is just wait one frame. I guess just for... Oh, I put the U in the wrong spot there. Coroutine requests. And then the number of frames. Right now we only support waiting one frame, don't we? Oh, I did it again. Let's see. So if I go to the asynchronous handler and look at that object, or that method I should say. Is request filled? Okay, this is what I wanted. Frame. Okay, yeah, so right now we just wait one frame, we don't have like a count. So this isn't really a request, but what would be another? This is like coroutine handler. That's a little boring, or generic. I'll just leave it at request for now. Because most of the time it's a request, we'll either make a stat request. The only other one I can think of right now is an A-star pathfinding request. Maybe helper is the best thing to do. Okay, well, yeah, I think I'll go with that actually. And really this is just going to be a very simple class that's basically just going to hook into these functions. Okay, I guess it could have a reference to this handling script, maybe. Because one thing I've been needing to do is, especially when we get to A star, is like this function should be pulled out somewhere else. But I guess for now we'll just do this simple way. Okay, and since this is going to be used in Lua, we need to tell Moonsharp that it's a user data object. And of course we need to hide the constructors because we don't want Lua to be able to create instances of this. Are we working on an Android app in Unity? That sounds good. The app checks prices of a WoW token and WoW for various regions. That sounds like a very useful app. I remember, I haven't played World of Warcraft in a couple years, but I was there when they first announced that, and the tokens in it, that app would have been pretty useful, I have to say. Okay, now why is my script coloring messing up again? The API you're using is really slow, 2 hours since last update. Does Blizzard provide that, or is it a third party? Okay, so I guess what it could do is just have a reference to this class. That doesn't seem like a good idea. I think right now I'll just have callbacks and it will just forward the Lua calls to these functions. So we'll have, what is the waiting, or any open, and what's frame wait, so it's just a asynchronous request. Wait frame, and I think it's the same. Well, actually, there are arguments to the stat request. It's a dynamic value and a string, and it returns an async request. It's about 170k gold per token. Oh, that's a lot more expensive. So if you got $100 free 1 million, wow. Oh, okay, Blizzard doesn't allow direct access to it. Yeah, I wasn't sure because I know they, well, I guess they have their own app that you can check the auction house. I guess that's probably not public. Okay, so stat request. And then I'll just want to have accessors. But of course all these will need to be hidden. I haven't gotten around to adding it. All auctions are available in the API, but WoW token isn't. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is a little strange, but I know it was handled differently than normal auctions, so I guess it makes sense. But wow, it's been almost 2 years now, hasn't it? I guess it's not top priority for them. Okay, now these will be the functions that Lua can call. So we'll have a make stat request. And this returns an async request. And has dynamic value for the owner and string for the stat name. And we'll just call the stat request callback. And have similar for the others. I'll actually put any open request first because it's kind of global, and this is just a boolean. I think API isn't top priority at all. It's mainly used for stats like Wowhead. Yeah, I bet so. I wonder if Wowhead has their own API for the WoW token. Yeah, I wonder. I remember back a long time ago they used to rely on people using a mod to gather everything. And yeah, no arguments. I guess this isn't really a callback, it's more like a function. And trying to decide, like right now these functions themselves throw script runtime. I guess that's still okay. Until I decide how to clean up this class, which I guess we'll need to get to sooner rather than later because our next project will probably be A-star pathfinding. So yeah, I'll be sure to think about that. Basically, yeah, we'll need to insert this object into the little object registry, and then we'll just need to hook it up to the other classes in the game. Team helper. Just can't type. Oh, they still use the mod to update the base info primarily? And they use Blizzard's API? Oh, okay. Interesting. We'll probably get a lot through data mining too, I guess. Alright, looks like everything's good there. So now I need to first put it into the global variables for Lua. I'm trying to remember what object does that. I guess I can see. Well, first I need to make this publicly available. Alright, it needs to be public. Yeah, it's gonna throw an error now because the coroutine helper class is not public yet, anyway. So if I look at the action logger, I can see wherever it's registered. Okay, we keep wanting to put an extra U. Coroutine helper. Still not completely satisfied with that name, but spent enough time on it. Yeah, I don't know why my text coloring system's not working, but as I would restart Visual Studio, but it was so slow earlier. Now just in the async handler, instead of registering these globals right here, it'll actually just insert those functions into the Lua database. Which isn't that in the database? The game data, I mean. Okay, it's right there. Let's get a reference to it. So the code, I did it again, coroutine helper. And then helper. And the open function is just waiting for responses. Stat request. And wait 1 frame. Oops, it's the wrong one. And now I think that's all I need to do. And the game should run just as it did before. So gotta get rid of that. So make stat request. Yeah, so this is the same. We still use just the normal Lua yield keyword there. The only difference is that instead of using separate functions, we've grouped them all into this class. Oh, except right here, that's the old name. I think that's the only place that I use coroutines right now. Okay, well, let's run the game and see what happens. So far so good, but obviously the player sort function hasn't even run yet. Okay, it looks like everything was fine. So what else uses just a empty function like that? I think the only one I can think of is right here. We have this add ability target option. So I guess we could just change this to ability targets, add option. Just to clean it up a little bit. Oh right, we don't have this cache anymore. Should have deleted that a while ago. Okay, so we'll just have another little helper object here in the Lua interface. Again, Moonsharp user data just tells Moonsharp that this object can be called in Lua. And I always hide the constructor. Okay, so this is a little simpler than the asynchronous or the coroutine helper. We might be able to get away with doing a little more than just being a hook into another function. That is true. I think I just realized a problem here. Is that if we have multiple get targets running at the same time, which I think can happen, all of the options will get like blended together. Yeah, so I need to store this data on a per script basis, kind of like I do with the asynchronous requests. I'm surprised it hasn't caused any problems yet. So basically, excuse me, we just need a separate list for each call. Or maybe I've made it so that you can only call it one at a time. I don't see any checks for that here. Okay, so basically there should only be one call per monster ability combo. So we could do a dictionary on vector 2, and that should work. This will be a little messy, but it'll be basically a dictionary on an int vector 2 key, and the value is this ability target, or this list. I think a cleaner way is just actually to use a list instead of a dictionary, because there never should be that many instances of this running at the same time. So monster ID, ability ID, and maybe script ID that will basically use the return value from this. Oh, it doesn't even have a return value actually. Okay, well that's something I'll need to change. Because yeah, when we start an asynchronous script, we should get the ID of this call. So actually we can use a dictionary on integers, because there'll just be one per script ID. Yeah, that should be fine. And this will be options. This will be open, come on, open calls. Please work with me, fingers. And so, also to make this simpler so we don't always have to like use this lambda function to keep track of the parameters in a kind of hacky way. This onComplete should just return the integer as well. I didn't think... I guess it's fine how it is now, but... So yeah, I should have the return value, but also the script index. So that's the arguments, and I need to also add that here. And then these post and pre-resumes should have the script index. Okay, so that'll be easy to add here, because I just have the handling script. It has its ID, doesn't it? Yeah, right there, index. Okay, yeah, the tracking gets deleted there, so I guess I should cache the index before that happens. And then right here on post resume. Okay, yeah, so that's... Oh, well, there's one other thing I need to do. Right here, instead of this being just a message, it actually should be a query because it needs to return the int, or an int for the script, not quest, for the script that was just started. Oh, that was the wrong thing. Oh yeah, we don't need to store that, that's why there's nothing up there. So claim, query, return goes first, and the argument, or yeah, the return goes first, which is an integer. And then I just say return tracking index. Okay, now one other problem is this call script like goes to work immediately, and these scripts won't actually get the index until maybe the script has finished running. So I have two options. Either scripts won't start to run until a frame later. I don't really like that because then that can waste frames that might not need to be. The other option is I need to have a separate message I can call to like first get the index and then actually call the script. Which I guess isn't horrible, but it's a bit of a pain. Well, I guess for sure we'll need to at least wait one frame. And maybe if I want, I can add another function. I don't think there's another better way to do this. So will it work if I just comment this out? No, because I don't store the first arguments. Okay, so yeah, it creates... Yeah, it doesn't like store the argument somewhere. This is a bit of a pain. Well, I guess I'll just have to store the first arguments here in the tracking object. I guess isn't that big of a deal, just a little bit of extra data. Okay, so here we loop through every active track, and then if it's waiting for a request, we only call it if the request has been filled. So obviously if it's not waiting for a request, that means it's its first call. So we would call tracking and tracking first arguments. Okay, now the game, I'm not sure if it'll run right now because I kind of want to test to make sure this still works. No, it won't. Okay, well before I update this ability to get targets, let's update all the Lua colors so I can try to run the game. But I guess here I already did delete the list. So on complete, I'll just be on complete. I don't really need to store the parameters anymore. Because we can get this stuff from the open calls dictionary. This is just finished options. I guess I don't need to clear that really. Yeah, we should actually remove that object from the open calls. Okay, now here's the function. And that's why I need to have, so I have this bool script executing. But I guess all I would need really now is int active script ID. And then post resume, when no script is running, I could just set this to -1. And I also should make sure that this starts as -1 here. So if active script ID is less than 0, then that means it's no script currently running. Okay, that's pretty simple. So for now, I will just keep on using this old function instead of moving to the new format. Okay, now I need to update basically all the other Lua callers. Hi, Scorpion. Assassin's Creed. Not really sure what your little Assassin's Creed thing means, but thanks for stopping by. Okay, does not take. Oh yeah, so that is just saying that on resume and stuff does not take 0 arguments, but I also need to change these messages to query. So I'm getting confused. Where was I? Yeah, right here. And so here it's trying to start one, so I just need to change this instead of a query claim to, or message claim to a query handle. Oh, I get what you're trying to say. I make the next Assassin's Creed. Yeah, I've gotten I'm a little behind on that series, so I wasn't sure what what number we were on, but yeah. Mario Bros is probably a more realistic goal for one developer, if I'm gonna be honest. But thank you for your confidence. Sorry, I guess I'm way too deep into programming here, so my brain is not fully working. Yeah, use query, that's what I was looking for, because I randomly type words. Okay, so here we'll get the ID, and we just need to create a new call object in this dictionary using the new ID. Monster ID, and we'll just create a new list. I think that's all we need. Let's just say last version was a buggy mess, so the bar is pretty low. Yeah, that's what I've heard. The new one, set in Egypt, does look pretty cool though. Hopefully they can pull it together. I always love that setting, so. Okay, so I think this is all set up. Oh, sorry, Scorpion, my chat bot doesn't like links. Oh yeah, I'll need to go. I remember that one image of like a person that's floating and they have like no head texture, so you can just see their eyeballs and teeth. Okay, so yeah, I'm just looking to see if I forgot something, but I think everything is good here. Let's just move on to the usable, and what I really need to do is just change these queries again, or messages to queries. But we don't actually need the ID here. I guess in the future I probably should use it, but we can go update it later. Same with this, although I'll just use a lambda so I don't have to change anything unneeded. It's always nice because it lets you basically throw out and reorder arguments as needed. New turn, I think, uses this. Couple more. Oh, it's saying there's still an error up here. Oh, yeah, you can't just put the variable name, you need to use a type. Handle, ID, or identity getting. Can't use the variable name. Couple more scripts after this. Oh yeah, the sort players. this copy, I can try and save a little bit of time. And here, we'll need to go and try and clean this up a bit in the future, but I really just want to make sure that everything still works okay. Because I'm not entirely sure that the asynchronous handler will work fine with the way I've done the first call. So ID and return equals and the stat-cheat detector does not use asynchronous, so this is fine. Okay, so I think the game will run now. Still more? Oh, it just hasn't compiled yet. Okay. So hopefully everything should work just the same as before. Oh, good. Is everything fine on turn 2? Looks like it. Okay, so that's good to see. So now I'll go ahead and add in this new object. Ability targets. So what do I want to have this Lua interface handle? Do I want to just have another hook just directly into this function like I did before? I guess that would be fine. So private function, what does it return? Oh, it returns the ability target option, and it has no arguments. So handle, or let's say new option function, and this will be hidden from Lua because they'll need to access it by using this add option function. But we won't really do anything except call the new option function, and that's it. I guess I'll need to return this. Okay, so now I need to add this to the Lua object registry like I did the coroutine helper. And just create an accessor for it. Oops, this needs to be public as well. And then up here, instead of adding this function to the namespace, we'll actually just insert the function into that ability targets object I just created. And one other thing I need to do is actually add this to the Lua globals, which I'll do right here.
You must be Dan. I'm Dr.
Ability
Robin. I see
targets.
you already met Crush. You'll be unconscious.
Okay, so this should work
Like you
fine.
were. Yes. I assume you mean asleep.
Let's look and see.
Details. You sit on the cradle of the miracle cure. open your mind and let
Gosh,
me
everything is so slow
explain.
tonight. I must need to reset my computer or something, I don't know. Okay, yeah, everything looks good. Okay, so before I move on, anything else I want to clean up in here? The only other thing that are inconsistency in some of the scripts is that most of the scripts interact with the main game through these functions, and then they return true if everything executed correctly. The only different one, well, I guess there are a couple different ones, like the ability usable returns true or false. And then this returns true or false. Okay, well, I guess there are other ones, but I was going to say the sort players will return a list of the player orders. Or, that was awkward how I said that. We return a list of the players in order that they'll act, instead of like creating an object that has a list. But I mean, it works fine this way. Could even just take out these return values, that they're not really needed, to be honest. Because I think almost all the time the mods will just return true. Because if they want it, if there was an error, it would. We'd probably want to have some function or something that said raise error. So yeah, I think I'll go ahead and do that. So yeah, don't need any return values here, and these are now just dummy functions. And I think now the game will throw some errors saying that the return values are invalid, but I could just go through and delete those checks. So the get targets, yeah, we don't care about this anymore. So I guess I can actually return this, or delete this enumeration as well. So what was that? What were the functions I did? The get targets and selection to actions and after turn effects. Oh, it closed that class. And then here, selection to actions. I'll delete that. Okay, so now the game should still run. Everything's still good. Okay, so the only other thing that I haven't really looked at much is this, that was for testing before, the map generation, but it basically already follows the patterns that I just set up. We have the field gen object that contains everything, and then it doesn't have any useless return values, so yeah, actually I don't need to change anything here. So I guess, yeah, I'm done with that project now. Trying to see any other improvements I need to add here. I like the way all this code works, I think. Yeah, I think this is all fine. Okay, so we still have 15 minutes. I guess we can start on pathfinding. But to prepare for that, I really need to clean up the asynchronous handler. Because this is way too big of a class. Really, most of it is fine. But we just need to get these, basically everything below this big break here needs to be in a separate class. Hey Mimiron, it's been a while, how are you doing? And maybe this waiting for responses can stay just because it's kind of a global thing, but there should probably be a separate class that does this frame wait and then one for a stat request. The problem is it's like so tightly tied with like the tracking and everything. Not really sure of a clean way to do it. Oh, good to hear you're doing well. Mine's been pretty good. I'm glad, well, past few weeks have been really busy for me, but this week's been basically back to my normal schedule, so that always feels nice. Okay, what is this index? Why is it a frame count? Oh, I guess it just checks. Oh, I see, because it's like sharing that integer value here. So that's just a bad name, I don't know. Not really a better way to do that. Okay, so what would be involved to pull this out? So we need to know first the active script. I guess that's about it, because everything else we just insert into there. So maybe we should just have a variable that we insert this active asynchronous script, and then whenever this function is called, we'd have that ready to go. Let's look at stat requests. What else is here? Owner object. Got from there. I think it just inserts all this stuff into the handling script. It doesn't actually interact with the rest of this object. Excuse me. So let's see. So I guess this will be the stat request handler. Let's do something more simple. Let's do the wait frame handler first. So if I pull this function out, what just gives me an error? Oh well, this is just missing namespaces, but oh, that's weird. Yeah, I've never seen that syntax before. I think that's because this request is a private variable, or a private class. And then of course we need a handling script. So really I need to first make this tracking object and this request object public variables, or public classes I should say. First let's rename these to be more global then. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Okay, and then I can pull these all out. And I think everything still is fine down here. This handling script, I need to change to a variable. So a bunch of different objects will have access to it. Let's do that. This controller, claim variable, async, tracking. And I guess, oh no, it does have the index in it already. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so we can set it, but we have to do it like this. And here we set it back to null when we're done. Hi, Purple Ninja. No hacking here. I'm programming my game. It's just a game with gameplay sort of like Pokemon. It's not an actual Pokemon game. I know there's been a couple other people that have wondered that. Okay, so handling script var value equals null. And then we return that. So now basically I can copy paste this and then insert in that variable, and I think everything will be set up. So variable subscription for an async tracking. Okay, so let's pull out the variable because we're going to use it quite a bit. Handling script equals handling script var value. Oh, why did it not autocomplete that for me? Oh, because I'm not using the namespace. Oh, you meant programming? Yeah, I am programming my game. Thank you. Oh yeah, now everything just magically works. It wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. So now I just need to controller. Basically just need to hook into this variable and then figure out how I'll put this function into the... Like I said, it's not really that difficult. First I just need to get the game data and then I just put my function in here just like that. Controller get... no, it should be get variable. now controller, get component, game data. Is that not working? Oh, again, I have the right namespace. Programming's way harder than hacking. I guess in a way. But in hacking, well, hacking has its own difficulties because you need to somehow reverse engineer the whatever game you're trying to hack into, which can be pretty difficult. So what is this called? Oh yeah, the coroutine helper. Cool's Lua, handle frame weight. And there we go. I think that's all I have to do. So we delete that, and I can delete this. One other thing. Yeah, we have this is request filled, which should probably be handled by this wait frame handler. Let's see, what would be the best way to do that? I guess a query. Oh, we can't do that because it'd be different objects. Or different handlers for each type. Yeah, I actually don't have a control object to handle this. So basically ideally what I would want is the asynchronous handler would have some object that would have a list of handlers, and then each one would figure out if they control the specific type of request and then return a value. But that is, I don't have anything like that, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to decouple this code. I'll come back to that. For now, I'll go ahead and pull out the stat requests. Thanks for following, Purple Ninja, I appreciate it. Handler. And I can basically copy this part. Oh yeah, and I gotta get all the namespaces again. Now I pull this code out. Okay, well this is going to be a bit more complicated because this monster stat known is needed for both this class as well as the stat request handler. That's just illustrating why I need to somehow get rid of the this checking code. Okay, so we just gotta do a little cleanup here, nothing difficult. First I'll grab this script, or this object out of here. Okay, now this needs to be stat request. Okay, so we need the database as well as the battle. Controller, get component. Still one thing, stat server request. Let's just pull that out of here because I don't remember the types for that message. But I guess I can delete it from here because we don't need that. Okay. Oh yeah, we can delete this, and the waiting for responses we'll just keep in here because it's a generic function. Okay, I can delete this. Sure now. I'll leave that. So for now, the only code that's left over is this is request filled. And somehow I need a way to pull this code into the wait frame handler and this code into the stat request handler, but in a clean way that doesn't like couple these code or these objects together too much. I guess an easy way is just to have an our message for each, but that's just kind of messy. And I guess maybe that's just what I'll have to do. Might get a little inventive with my component system. Come on. So it's a dictionary of, well, it'll actually be this asynchronous request type, but unfortunately it's not good to use enumeration types and dictionaries because it generates well, garbage, which is basically memory used in the game that the game will have to go clean up later, which can cause slowdown. So I try not to use enumerations as dictionary keys for that reason. And what would be the value? I just forgot my train of thought. Oh right, it'd be a message. Or actually a query. That would return a boolean. And the argument is tracking, correct? Okay, no, it's open request. And SSB is filled queries. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this here as a kind of reminder. And let's say maybe experiment with a new kind of component tag. So right now we have, like, when I use components, actually no examples here, but like here I have this lizard tamer tag, which is used to identify a specific message in my collection. So like, if I wanted to, I could create a new type of tag that is just for these asynchronous handlers, and I think that's what I'll end up doing, because that way I can easily just say, okay, well, give me that query, and I won't need to like specifically have a key for each one. But I'll do that tomorrow, and then we'll probably move on to a star pathfinding, or maybe one of these actions. I really want to do some modeling soon, so I think I'll probably play around with it, maybe brush up on my Blender skills this weekend, and hopefully we can start next week. But I think this will be it for me tonight. So thanks everybody for coming by and watching, and again I apologize for my internet, although it seems it has been fine for the last half of my stream, so that's good. But I should be back tomorrow around 8:30 Eastern, and we'll finish up this project and then move on to pathfinding, which should be fun. Oh yeah, Taco. Yeah, hacking can be pretty difficult, like I was explaining, because you have to like reverse engineer the game. But of course, making your own game has its own challenges. You have to design it yourself. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming by again, and have a great night. And I'll hope to see you tomorrow. Right, bye bye.